morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the 5th webinar episode of ProPak Philippines, sponsored by Avant Equinox Group Industry Solutions. Our theme for today is about MSMEs overcoming challenges to succeed on the road to recovery. Powered by Zoom and broadcast and organized by Informa Markets. My name is Mia, and I will be your moderator for today. Please be informed that we are also live on ProPak Philippines YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook accounts. So just in case you get disconnected on Zoom or couldn't get in again, you may watch us through our live stream in our social media pages. Before we start, please be reminded with our housekeeping rules. All microphones and videos of the attendees will be automatically muted, and the chat box will be disabled throughout the session. If you have any questions to our speakers, please type it on the Q&A box and we will have our Q&A session towards the end of the webinar. You can see the Q&A box either on top or at the bottom part of your screen, depending on which device you are using. Should there be any internet disruption during the session, please be patient and try to sign in again. And towards the end of our webinar, we will ask you to complete our survey. Please take a minute to answer the survey before leaving us today. Your feedback will help us improve our future events. For sure, most of you know our first invited speaker, especially if you always join ProPak Philippines webinars. He is recognized as a savvy leader with a passion to championing the homegrown entrepreneur. He has 20 years executive management experience working with multinational environment under his belt. He is a visionary thinker with global perspective and entrepreneurial drive, which sets him apart as a business development expert, marketing strategist, branding guru, and tactician. He is at the forefront of innovation as an international eco-sociopreneur, mixologist, financial planner, life-affirming specialist, motivational book author, food connoisseur, pioneer, homegrown ASEAN mentor. So without further ado, let's all welcome Mr. Clarke Nebrao.
Thank you so much, Miss Jom. I'm very excited to actually join everyone on this last episode for our ProPak Philippines webinar. And of course, to share with you this afternoon, I'll be starting with our MSMEs overcoming challenges to succeed on the road to recovery. Before I start, I want to actually greet our esteemed guest, Director Jerry Clavesillas and Engineer Gonzales. Of course, our ProPak Philippines family and the Informa Market family, to our dear partners from Avant, to our Packaging Institute of the Philippines, our members and partners from the Association of Laguna Food Processors, and of course, our Department of Trade and Industry, who has been very supportive of our MSMEs, our supplier partners, and our very, very dear MSMEs. I'm very excited to share with you the mindset of our MSMEs during this time of pandemic. Of course, at this time, next slide, please. We are in a situation where there were really disruptions and we were disoriented and even discouraged with our businesses for almost 8, 9, almost 10 months now. We've been really struggling, trying to see where are we going, what do we need to do. And of course, we know that our MSMEs are amongst the most vulnerable and hardest hit economic agents in this pandemic. And this time, I want to show you a slide from a survey conducted by the World Bank in July this year, wherein this is about our Asian MSMEs. Next slide, please. First, 89% of our ASEAN MSMEs actually had an average fall of 70 to 75% on their revenues. So imagine for us to struggle as MSMEs, 70 to 75% of our revenues really fall apart, and we don't know how to really marry our cash flow, how to marry our operations, how we can even really comply with our suppliers. And another thing, 80% of our ASEAN MSMEs were supporting vulnerable workers and non-public employment. This just shows that our MSMEs are giving work to a lot of our people in the ASEAN region. And next slide shows that our ASEAN MSMEs, next slide please, 56% of our ASEAN MSMEs has less than 21 days of cash revenue. So just imagine when the lockdown happened, especially it was easier maybe for the first 14 days, but when it extended and it extended, the World Bank really studied and showed that ASEAN MSMEs, only 56% has a cash revenue of 21 days, less than 21 days of cash revenue. And 14% were successful in seeking credit assistance. Of course, during this time, we were trying to make ends meet, trying to actually partner and see if we have financial institutions, if we have some loans that we can actually borrow, and really also partners. And only 14% of us were successful in really seeking credit assistance. Of course, there is also the credit assistance from government and from other financial institutions, but in totality, our ASEAN MSMEs only had 14%. Now, let's go from the ASEAN MSMEs to our Philippine MSMEs. First, this is a study by ADB conducted in September 16, 2020 by Shinozaki. It shows that 70.6% of our MSMEs were really forced to temporarily close or stop operation during this pandemic. And imagine, 70% of us actually had cash flow problems. So 70%. And the next slide shows us that that same study, 36.7% has no more cash or assets to sustain the business. So as we went longer to the lockdown, we see that our MSMEs even struggled further. And imagine 42.1% will run out of cash and fund by the last quarter of 2020. They even told us that by December of this year, or by this month, almost half of our MSMEs don't have any cash or fund left to really sustain their businesses. But of course, the last 2-3 months, we really realized that our MSMEs were really in constant search of what to do in their businesses, and in constant coordination with what's next. So therefore, the next slide, I want to show you that the mindset of our MSMEs is that, one, we know that change is constant. And at this time of the pandemic, uncharted territories are there. No one can tell us that they know this. No one can really even say that this is their expertise, or they know what will happen in the next couple of months. But what is important as far as our MSMEs are concerned, one thing was really, I need to really respond. And the best way to predict the future is really created by Peter Drucker. And with that, one question always lingers in our mind as MSME. Next slide, please. It always, we go back to this question. Did my customers actually lose interest in my products? Or they do not know how to take hold and where to buy my products? We go back to those to that question, because it's very important that even before the pandemic, of course, I already have a product. I'm manufacturing my product. I'm trading my product. I'm actually selling it in the different marketplaces. But right now, is it really that my customers lost that enthusiasm towards my product, or just they just don't know where to actually take hold of it? They don't know maybe where to order it, or what are the details to connect me. And that question always gives back that during this entire time of pandemic, it gave us, our MSMEs, again, to focus back. This became one of the very first trait of our MSME, to focus, to go back to the drawing board. We wanted to really survive this pandemic. We wanted to survive uh, this time, and we want our businesses to be actually really thriving, and see how we can move things as far as we're concerned. So this was the time that we thought of what did we do right during or before the pandemic? What did we do wrong even before the pandemic? And uh, what uh, what what did we not do before the pandemic? In between the right and the wrong, I wanted to know now, what else can I do? How can I actually refocus? How can I actually survive? How can I actually even prepare myself and my business to the future, and really going into the future? And I really want to work on my business. So the first few months, maybe 2, 3 months, it was really a time of contemplation, a time to really go back to the drawing boards and really think of things to pursue as far as my business is concerned. Is my product still good? Am I still can I still be present in the marketplaces that I am with? Are my customers still in touch with me? How can I get in touch with my customers? And with that, the second characteristic of our MSME is that after having that focus, now we go into really pivoting. I want to pivot my business. Even myself as an entrepreneur, I want to pivot myself. This is the time to reformulate. I want to see a repurpose of what I'm doing, to embrace technology, to even go into e-commerce. Majority of us were even afraid to go into e-commerce. We even don't know what is e-payment. Is it safe? We didn't even know if we will believe in e-delivery, if we can even partner with logistics that can deliver our products immediately to our customers. And all of this pivoting happened because of that focus. Now I wanted to survive. Now I wanted to see if I can really go beyond even before this pandemic happened. Can I even outdo myself? Even for myself, my company, I've been producing turmeric for a long time. I even needed to bring back uh, my international packaging into the local market. So I need to pivot as well into my packaging. And I'm very thankful. Next slide, please. This is how my product is during this time of pandemic. It really embraces the cultural values of Filipinos. It even goes beyond a tea. It's now called the tisan. It's now even has a greater market. And just by pivoting my packaging into what it is now, it even increased my sales tremendously, even before the pandemic. Before the pandemic, I had lots of products. I grew with my very, very first product, from turmeric to banana chips to black garlic. to having my own logistic company. And right now, going back, we went back to what matters most, and that is our business in the turmeric industry, and really pivoting our packaging and how it is delivered and how it is branded for the local market. Now, before, if we only had around 30% of the local market, and then we were exporting 70% of our produce. Right now, it's the other way around. And it became even a blessing for us that renewing and pivoting our packaging is really good. And I am really grateful for our packaging partners that they were able to understand the MSMEs, that we might not have the resources of one time, big time payment for 5,000 and or 10,000 pieces of our packaging, but with the help of our Packaging Institute of the Philippines, ProPak Philippines, we were able to talk to our suppliers, talk to our partners to lower their MAQ, to really give us this packaging in a very affordable amount. The second story that I want to also highlight during this time of pandemic are these pictures. These are pictures of our Association of Laguna Food Processors. The pictures on your left, those are processors of our lambanog. Uh, they are from Nagcarlan in Laguna. They used to produce lambanog. And during the pandemic, the first week of the pandemic, here in the province of Laguna, we lacked alcohol and sanitizers. And even our public hospitals were struggling to get hold of this alcohol and the sanitizers. And therefore, 1 week after, we encouraged our manufacturers of lambanog to come up with ethyl alcohol. And they were very diligent enough to do R&D. And after doing an R&D, just almost after a week, they were able to comply with this 70% ethyl alcohol from lambanog. And this ethyl alcohol was tested with our partners as well, with the Department of Science and Technology, supported by the DTI Calabarzon and DTI Laguna offices, wherein it was tested for its viability. Can we actually use it? Can we actually commercialize the ethyl alcohol? And you know, this was the very first ethyl alcohol that was used in the market. And after that was tested, we coordinated it with our manufacturers of essential oils and essences, wherein they used the produce of our lambanog manufacturers doing the ethyl alcohol and integrating it into the very product of their sanitizers, making alcohol, making essences, a collaboration between the essential oils and the lambanog makers for ethyl alcohol, a combination of that, and then we came up with our very own sanitizers. And these sanitizers, we were able to give it out, you know, with the generosity of the Association of Laguna Food Processors. Even we were hurting, we were actually going out, also shelling out our own resources to make sure that these sanitizers were available into the hospitals. And you know, these sanitizers were able to penetrate not just the Laguna public hospitals, but eventually it became the sanitizers for the anti-COVID from big hospitals. And eventually from that, after about a month, we were able to get resellers from our partners, from our MSMEs, to even do retail and sell it to other provinces, sell it to other areas. And this collaboration really was a very good example of our partnership as a community, really serving our province and serving, of course, the entire country. With these sanitizers now really being used into the different provinces. We even send it as far as Mindanao and Visayas just to create this collaboration. And we're very, very happy for it. The first month, it was just really given for free from the Association of Laguna Food Processors. We were chipping in for that alcohol and sanitizers to be able to be done and produced. Of course, by this time, we were able to already get the FDA approval. We had our own DOST testing for it as well. And it was really a fantastic way of collaborating. And now even our local government unit from the province of Laguna was promoting it and was also going into the different aspects of our products. And the next story that I want to show you about pivoting is our DTI One Town One product created the very first auto market showroom with the Pasinaya, and then eventually followed by a virtual expo, making an expo virtually. And you know what? That Pasinaya gave us a 30 million sales. And after that virtual market showroom and of course the virtual expo, the next slide please, we coordinated and we partnered with our local artists to promote our products. Next slide please. And with this promotion, our MSMEs were able to really get the famous stars, the famous celebrities to collaborate with us. Of course, by this time, our One Town One product in DTI was able to get the help of Miss Catriona Gray, our Miss Universe 2018, to really be the ambassador of One Town One product. And with all of this pivoting, it just shows us that the third characteristic of our MSME is that he is actually resilient. This resiliency to be able to really withstand and recover quickly and bounce back. I'm really very happy to tell you that we are bouncing back. I would say maybe 80 to 85% of our MSMEs are on the way to recovery. We are actually trying to stand up. And I want to show you a video at this time to cap up these characteristics of our MSMEs.
I'm Catriona Gray, your OTOP ambassador, and this is San Pablo, Laguna.
Panahon ng martial law, 1974. Ang asawa ko ay nawala ng trabaho. Kaya siya ay nagsimulang magluto ng minatamis na makapuno. Nagsimula kami 1,000 piso, isang kaldero at isang kalan. Backyard business lang. Nung una, yung aming produkto ay hindi na perfect eh. Nasisira. Ang DTI nag-promote ng tulong. Pati nagte-training sila, nagse-seminar. Malaking tulong yung DTI sa amin, simula't simula. Yung produkto mo ay nakakapag-expo ka sa Japan, sa Australia, Canada, at saka sa US through DTI. 30 years na kaming tinutulungan. Para sa akin, ang pinakamahalaga ay meron akong mga tao na tapat na hanggang ngayon ay nasa akin pa. May napag-retire na akong ilan, tapos merong 35 years na.
Nagsimula ako sa Escabo Food Product, 1984. 12 na tauhan lang kami. Hanggang sa lumago, dumami ng dumami aming supplier, customer, mga empleyado. Siyempre, natutuwa kami at nalago ang Escaba, naunlad ng naunlad. Natutulang akong aking asawa sa pagsuporta sa aking mga anak, pati sa aking mga apo. Napapag-aral ko sila. makapundar ako ng lupa na tirika ng aming tahanan. Kasama kami sa pag-asenso ng Escaba Food Products. Nung tumama yung pandemic dito sa atin, nawalan kami ng trabaho na 2 buwan.
Pag narinig mo yung kwento nila na walang makain, hindi binibigyan mo sila ng assistance monthly.
Hindi kami pinabayaan ng Mr. and Mrs. Escaba. Tinulungan kami ng financial. Sinuportahan kami ng mga gamot, yung mga vitamin C, binigyan kami niyan. Siya'y naaawa sa amin na walang hanap buhay. Kaya ginagawa niya ng paraan na kami magkaroon ng hanap buhay.
Nung bumisita nga dito sa amin si Catriona, ay excited na yung mga yan. Ay, Diyos ko po, hindi ko alam ba ang feelings. Excited plus excited. Hindi ma-express. Parang di kami makakatutok na isang linggo. Pwede na namin ipagmalaki sa buong mundo. Naganda kami ng konti para kay Miss Universe.
Ole, que así toma, que así toma.
Kung ipopromote niya, napakalaking bagay sa amin yun. Lebreng-lebre na kami sa promotion.
A lot of entrepreneurs, when they're starting out, they can think, I only have this much capital, I only have these many resources, maybe only 1 or 2 people believe in my vision, and a lot of the times that's enough to make us feel like, okay, wag na lang, this isn't meant for me. But I think with a story like this one of Escaba, starting small, everything starts small. Every biggest dream, even my journey to Miss Universe, it started small. And I think that's a very hopeful thing to hold on to.
Simula kami ng 1,000 piso, isang kalan at isang kaldero. Wala namang sekreto. Yun lang, maayos na pakitungo sa mga tao.
Naalala ko sa aking sarili na laking tulong ang naibigay niya sa amin, pamilya. Yung tulong na hindi mo matutumbasan ng kahit anong ginawa niya sa amin. Kaya isang bagay din lang na lagi ko naiisip na hindi ko siya maiwan. Nahihiya ako, aawa, na ayokong iwan siya. Kasi ang bait nga niya sa akin, sa aming pamilya. Kaya hindi ko siya maiwanan. Pagamat ako'y pwede nang mag-retire, hindi ko siya maiwanan.
And that story actually stresses the importance of having a good mindset and heart set. That I would say, being an entrepreneur myself, that makes the biggest difference in this time of pandemic. I always say that being resilient is not a destination, but a positive mindset empowered by an inspired heart set to make a difference. And therefore, as I end this presentation with you this afternoon, I want to actually call to action everyone who's here, especially our suppliers. Please waive your MOQ or at least give a good payment terms where MSMEs can actually issue PDCs. This is a way to really help us out as MSMEs. Of course, we know that packaging is very, very important. And maybe this can be our call to action and a plea from your MSMEs. Please help us in that area. Of course, we understand the logistics of really producing it in a big volume, but of course, please also understand our MSMEs. If you can actually give us payment terms, that would really be very good. And for our machine suppliers, I know we have a lot under our Informa Markets family and ProPak family. Our machine partners, please partner with financial institutions so that our MSMEs can actually purchase machines right away. I'm sure later you will also hear from Director Jerry some initiatives from the Department of Trade and Industries on this aspect. And then, of course, at the end of my call to action is we really need more suppliers. Make yourselves known to us MSMEs and come in the Philippines and invest in our MSMEs. And I am very honored and truly thankful for our ProPak Philippines, because for the last 2-3 years, we've been doing that. We're trying to convince more suppliers, more people who can actually invest in our Philippine MSMEs to really level up and to really be competitive in the market. And lastly, of course, together we bounce back stronger. And thank you for this time that you gave me to really share the journey of our MSMEs. Thank you so much.
Clarke, thank you once again for that inspiring and insightful presentation. And from your what you presented today, we've seen how the MSMEs have become the most vulnerable in these trying times, and we've also got some insights on characteristics of MSMEs amid the pandemic. And we need to be focused, we go pivoting and be resilient and have a positive mindset and heart set to bounce back together. So once again, thank you, Mr. Clarke Nebrao. So moving forward to our second speaker, he is a certified public accountant by profession. He has been working on micro, small, and medium enterprise promotion and development, starting in early 80s as a Masikap scholar that provided technical assistance in the preparation of feasibility studies for loan applicants. He also had experiences working with various international organizations for projects on enterprise and entrepreneurship development in the Philippines and other Southeast Asian countries. He has been the Philippine official representative to the APEC SME Working Group and the ASEAN Coordinating Committee on MSMEs since 1996. And now, he is currently the Director 4 of the Bureau of Small and Medium Enterprise Development of the Department of Trade and Industry. I am pleased to welcome Director Jerry Clavesillas.
Thank you very much, Mia, for this opportunity to be able to present to our participants this afternoon the programs of the Department of Trade and Industry pertaining to our MSMEs in order for them to be able to recover from the onslaught brought about by the pandemic. So let me just share with you my PowerPoint.
Before we begin with your presentation, Director Jerry, we will have our poll question first.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
So our poll question will pop up on your screen. So you just need to select the best answer. So the question is, what type of assistance and support programs you have available from DTI during the COVID-19? You have 10 seconds to go. Okay, time is up. So we will share the result now. And maybe I will ask Director Jerry to share your insight regarding the result of our poll question. I can see that financing assistance, marketing assistance, and skills management training have the most answered.
Yeah, this is a very appropriate response, Mia, I understand, because considering the interventions that have been provided by the DTI and the other line agencies of government, we focus on these three areas, particularly on the financial support, no, given to not only to the MSMEs, but in particular to the workers of our enterprises, which have been closed during the period of the total lockdown. And then also the facilitation of the marketing activities of our enterprises, which have been forced to also totally close due to the instructions of our IATF for the non-essential enterprises especially. And finally, on the capacity building, because during the pandemic or during the pure lockdown situation, the only intervention that can be easily mounted or provided by the providers are actually the webinars, no, similar to what we are doing this afternoon. So these are the things that are being provided even until now by the line agencies, not only by the Department of Trade and Industry, to our MSMEs.
Okay, that's very nice to hear from you, Director Jerry. So you can proceed with your presentation for today.
Yeah, so briefly, I would just want to show you the snapshot, no, of the profile of our MSMEs in the country now. So we have a total of about 1,500,000 enterprises based on the statistics provided to us by the Philippine Statistics Authority for the year 2019. And the majority of these enterprises belong to the micro enterprise category, those which have an asset size of not more than 3 million pesos, and then followed by the small enterprise at 10% or equivalent to about 100,000 of the total population. And these are naman the enterprises with asset size of 3 million up to 15 million pesos. And then the medium enterprise, this is barely 1%. It's only 0.5% of the total. And the capitalization of this enterprise is from 15 million pesos up to 100 million. So majority of our enterprises belong to the number one priority sector here, the wholesale and retail trade, but includes also the repair of motor vehicles and motorcycles. No, this is the classification being done by our PSA, followed of course by the accommodation and food services, and then manufacturing and other service related activities. And these are mostly the sectors that have been affected by the lockdown, because some of these have been considered as non-essential, no, particularly the accommodation, as well as some of the manufacturing sector. So Clarke has already shown to us the impact or the effect, no, of the situation or this pandemic to the enterprises. I will not anymore repeat those presentations. I will proceed directly now to the programs that are available, no, to our MSMEs, particularly for those who intend to recover from the slump brought about by this situation. So it's a good thing that we started this afternoon with our webinar on a positive note by the presentation of Clarke, showing to us the things that are being done now, not only by their association members, but also by the other MSME owners, no, in the country that are really sincere in trying to rebuild the situation where they are right now. So there are so many things that we can do, but as a good segue to my presentation is the last slide of Clarke, where it says that we have to have a positive mindset. Because in our case now at the DTI, we summarize our programs and services in 7 major classifications, and these are all starting with letter M for us to easily recall what are these things. So we started with number 1M, that is the mindset change, followed by mastery. Then we have the mentoring. For mindset change, this is a very critical subject now, because especially that we are in this situation and everybody is quite depressed about the situation where they are in right now. But based on the experience of Alafop, the association where Clarke is the chairman, there are still so many things that we can do, because the situation is not only Prive anyway to the MSME sector. This is a global challenge. So the only thing that we have to do is to consider what are the things that we can still do. This is not the end of the world for us. No? So there are still so many things that we can provide, not only for our own needs, but as well as for the community, for the country. And those are the things also that we have just listened or learned from Clarke's presentation. But after doing that, after having that positive mindset, of course, we need to have a mastery, continuous mastery of our craft, of the business that we are in. So this is the continuing intervention that we are still doing. If you have recalled the result of the poll survey, they mentioned there that the third item or the third intervention, the third intervention that they have availed from the DTI is the online seminar. And these are the things now that we continuously provide to our MSMEs. We have almost a daily webinar or online session for our enterprises who are interested to, again, reskill, retool, and also, as mentioned by Mr. Clarke, pivot their operation. There are so many things in store for them, only if they have the patience to listen and watch to these various available platforms every day. And then the third one is mentoring. Of course, mentoring is a part of our capacity building. We have associations like the ALAFOP and, of course, the other online mentors that we have right now who are providing also detailed coaching to our mga entrepreneurs who are needing more guidance in their operation. I will go into the details in the next slides, in the succeeding slides. And the fourth M is, of course, money. So that's also one of the things that they have availed from DTI, and I'm sure from the other line agencies, especially because in the other departments, for example, at the DOLE and the Department of Finance, there is this so-called wage subsidy also that has been provided by these agencies to the workers that have been affected by the closure of their enterprises. And the fifth M is a machine. Of course, this is a continuing advocacy that we have for our MSMEs in order to become continuously competitive. We have to always have the latest and the state-of-the-art equipment that are necessary for our product development. And the sixth M is, of course, market. All of these interventions will be, of course, measured in terms of their effectiveness to the operation of our MSMEs if we have continuously market access, and if there are still continuous demand for our products and services. And the last M, this is the models of business. So having all of this, we are continuously trying to also provide opportunities for our MSMEs now to find out what are the other things that they can do. So that's not the usual day-to-day activity that they have to do as part of our mastery. We have to continuously innovate the operation and find other opportunities that are in store for our business. So these are the things that we are now providing to the MSMEs in partnership also with the other line agencies as well as our other private partners in the development advocacy. So if I go now to the specific of these programs, we lump here the 3 M's. The first 3 M's, the mindset, mastery, and the mentoring, because all of these interventions are somehow provided using these following platforms. First, we have our negosyo centers now, which are almost 1,200 nationwide. So this is the first support center that are now available or accessible to everybody in the country, because we are now bringing down to the LGU level the various programs and services through these negosyo centers. Because before the establishments of these negosyo centers, most of our line agencies in the country are only limited up to the provincial level. So we only have up to the provincial presence, and we only have 84 offices of that. But with the negosyo centers, we already have at this time 1,200, and we still have about 400 more to be established, because we have about 1,600 LGUs nationwide. So this is the easier engagement point for our MSMEs and would-be entrepreneurs in case of inquiry that they might have, or things that they might, for example, in terms of mga inquiry nila with regard to the requirements of the various regulatory agencies, they can get it from our negosyo centers. At the same time, our negosyo centers can also facilitate their filing of their application to these various regulatory agencies. And of course, our business counseling and mentoring services can also be accessed using our negosyo centers if they want to visit physically our negosyo centers. Otherwise, we are now trying to develop an online facility that will also link our negosyo centers with our MSMEs nationwide. So wherever you are, even if you are out of the country, you are still going to have access to the negosyo centers once we have already developed the online facility. Another program that we are now having as part of our advocacy to our entrepreneurs and would-be entrepreneurs is this youth entrepreneurship program. We are now giving special emphasis on the youth sector because there are a lot of things that can be done by our younger generation. So we are partnering with the various mga educational institutions that while they are still in school, they are already provided with the intervention on entrepreneurship. So they are given the opportunity to identify what are the business ideas that they can develop and ultimately start and develop into a business. So for those naman who are out of school, we are also partnering with various organizations who are also into this intervention. So anybody belonging to this category now is the focus of intervention by those agencies that are identified by our Youth Entrepreneurship Act, because this is already a law. Everybody is required, or rather all the line agencies that have some programs for entrepreneurship are mandated, including the educational departments like the DepEd as well as the CHED and the other organizations are required to provide focus to our youth sector in order to develop them into becoming productive citizens of our country. And this is now another program, the Mentor Me program, which I am saying earlier, that we have also some online mentors. Prior to the pandemic, we are conducting this physically. So we only have about 20 participants per batch in every province. But now, because of the situation, we have shifted to the online modality, and we are getting more participation now because this can even be done simultaneously by all provinces nationwide. And our resource persons can even conduct simultaneous event in one day. Before the pandemic, they are only limited to where their physical body is present. But now, anywhere that they were in, they can be linked by this platform. They can make themselves available. So Mr. Clarke is also one of our mentors. So they are now accessible online. So we are getting more participants under this program. We are providing coaching services as well as all the various gamuls of enterprise development through the 10 weeks module before, when we were still conducting this physically. But now with the online, they are compressed already in just within 1 week, they can finish the course. So we are graduating more participants now when we shifted to the online platform. Our Philippine Trade Training Center, likewise, is also into, these are now the agencies that, together with TESDA, that are now providing capacity building online. So there is almost daily online seminars or webinars and other mga regular training programs, which are now being done online, like the TESDA. They already shifted or converted their agency into e-TESDA. So it's already an electronic provision of their training programs. And of course, we have other various mga livelihood programs. We have the Negosyo Serbisyo sa Barangay, wherein the advocacy to encourage everyone to go into business or entrepreneurship is done at the provincial or the barangay level. And we also have an intervention to those which have been affected by various calamities, starting from the Taal volcano eruption in the first quarter of the year to the earthquake victims, flooding victims, and the other disasters. We have a corresponding support facility also for those micro enterprises, particularly in order for them to recover from the onslaught brought about by the disaster. So these are the things that are being done under the three first M. So we have mind setting. We have to have a proper mindset, as mentioned by Clarke. It's difficult for us to progress or to progress and develop further if we are trying to focus on the negative things that are happening around us. That is why we have to have always this positive mindset. So if there is this pandemic, we are still here. Everybody is still alive that are now participating in this webinar. So meaning that there are still a lot of things that can be done by each one of us. So we just have to identify what are those things that are being given to us in order for us to become more productive individuals of this country. Mastery, of course, we have to continuously master our craft. It's not good for us to just say it's okay na yan. That's it, because the market is changing every day. So the demands of the customers or the consumers are also changing every time they have seen new products or new developments or new innovations. They will stick to the latest model. So this is what we're trying to say now to everyone, that we have to continuously innovate our products and services. And the third one is, of course, mentoring. So this first two subjects can be done through mentoring. So we have regular mga webinars, mga talk sessions, mga forum, in order for us to continuously convey to our citizens here the things that can still be done by everyone. So these are the first three M's, mindset, mastery, mentoring. The fourth one is money, of course. This is the most important to everyone. But again, during the pandemic, although this program by the DTI, itong P3 program natin has been ongoing even before the pandemic. So this is a regular program under the Small Business Corporation of the Department of Trade and Industry that focuses on providing financial support to our micro enterprises. And during the pandemic, they came up with a new facility. They call this the Bayanihan COVID Assistance to Restart Enterprises, or the P3 CARES program. And also because of the returning mga overseas workers natin or overseas Filipinos from abroad, whose employment ceased because their companies are not anymore operating, so they're coming back to the country. They also provided a facility that will focus on these individuals. Once they are back and they are not yet engaged in any undertaking or any productive activity, they can avail of this facility from under the HEROES program. So this is the acronym HEROES, which means helping the economy recover through OFW enterprise startups. So the overseas workers can also be now trained or encouraged to start their own small business in order for them to be just continuously productive. And the fifth M is machine. So this is where I think now the ProPak is quite very much relevant, because by doing now some of our operations, technologically, based on what are now the facilities or the state-of-the-art mga equipment, we lessen yung engagement ng mga individuals in the so-called mga manual process. So this is where the equipment are very much now in need or needed by our enterprises, so that the trust and confidence of our buyers, of our consumers to our products or even service, which are tapping mga equipment, will be increased. Thus minimizing the problem of mababang sales because people are afraid to consume our products or avail of our services simply because they are not confident that our operation is safe as far as this pandemic now is concerned. So this is the situation. We have now about 2,600 plus SSFs nationwide, and then we have already utilized about 2 billion pesos investment in these facilities, and have generated a lot of positive impact. And also these are the list of the various established SSFs nationwide. They are in different sectors, from abaca, bamboo, cacao to veggie noodles nationwide. So this is now the subsectors where our SSFs are into. And we also have, aside from the shared service facilities, we also have the so-called leveled up SSF, which we are calling as the fabrication laboratory. So far we have already 27 nationwide, and these are the distribution nationwide, no? Almost one per region except for Region 7 in Region 7 in Cebu, wherein they have 8. And then Region 4A, the Calabarzon also has 3. Region 3 and NCR have 2, and then Region 9 also is 3. So these are the centers that provide product development to those which cannot afford to do some product development. So they can just come to these fabrication laboratories, undergo some research there, product testing, and coming up with a model or prototypes of the products that they want to produce commercially. So they can minimize their cost if they are availing of these services by the Fab Labs nationwide. So these are now the logos of the Fab Labs nationwide. And this during the pandemic, also as also presented by Clarke, in some of the members of the ALAFOP, those which are producing lambanog, they shifted to alcohol production. So similarly, even for our mga sewing enterprise operations, they also, some of them or most of them rather, shifted also into the fabrication of mga PPEs, like mga yung fabricated face mask, yung mga medical gown. And also for the manufacturing, some of those also fabricate fabricated face shields, as well as ethyl alcohol and aerosol boxes. So this is how resilient our enterprises are, by identifying what are the opportunities, and immediately they were able to respond to the needs of the market. So for the market, the sixth M, this has been also explained by Clarke. In fact, Pasinaya, this is what he has mentioned also. This is the platform of our One Town One Product program, wherein they conducted this virtual market fair. So also the impact is quite encouraging, because there are more buyers when the various regular trade fairs that we are doing prior to the pandemic physically have been started to shift, have been started in the virtual platform. So the regular mga trade fairs natin na regional, almost every month, that are happening in the malls here in Metro Manila, can now be done by the regions simultaneously. So every week or every other week, there are various regular trade fairs that are being conducted virtually, and there are more buyers or potential buyers that are visiting the site. And also during the pandemic, during the heavy lockdown, we continuously conduct the so-called Descuento Caravan, wherein our mga micro enterprises are brought to the communities. So they are being brought to the market. So this is also another way of facilitating the market access of our entrepreneurs. That's the reason why that's also the number 3 services that they have availed from the DTI and the other line agencies. And of course, the last M is the models of business, because under the situation now, we are encouraging the various sectors in our or the various sectors in the MSME environment to focus on the things that can be developed or enhanced or digitalized, for example, because most of the delivery of services now are being done digital, particularly the marketing, which is mostly tapping the digital platform. That's why we have now this so-called intervention at the DTI, which we call the Tech Tools for MSMEs. This is simply a compilation of the various mga technological enabling applications that are available in the market, and most of these are even free. So we have already compiled this in our DTI Philippines website. Easily, you can go there and identify what are your needs in terms of management aspect, for example, marketing, accounting, bookkeeping. So easily you can find out, these are the mga applications which we can use. And as I have said, some are even free. And also during the heavy lockdown, we started the conduct of this Control Plus Biz Reboot now. So this is a daily activity or a daily webinar during the heavy lockdown, where all of our digital enablers were very cooperative in sharing what are the things that their respective companies or digital platforms are providing, or in fact even supporting the MSMEs. And also we have, of course, the focus still on the youth entrepreneurship program. So the young entrepreneurs have been coming up with their new innovations, mga bagong models. So these are the things that we have actually started to provide now to our MSMEs. So there are other matters or things that are also of interest to our MSMEs. You can just simply visit the DTI website and you can find there every day there are some updates pertaining to the support and the programs that we are providing to the MSMEs. So with all of these things now that are being done by our government, and by the way, as I have said, there are also various legislations, no, itong ating Bayanihan 1 and 2, and now there is also the proposed Bayanihan 3. All of these are giving emphasis on the support that are necessary for our MSMEs to recover, no, from this slump. So this is, I think, where we are right now. So again, my call to action, as Mr. Clarke also has his own. Our call to action now is for everyone to just be, continuously, just continuously have trust and confidence on the various interventions that are provided to you by our government, because definitely this will all result positively to the operations of our enterprises, and definitely we will be of help, of support as well to the community as well as to our country. So I would like to stop here. Thank you very much and good afternoon to everyone.
Thank you so much, Director Jerry, for that very informative presentation. And it's really good to know that DTI has ways, or 7Ms as you name it, to support, to uplift our MSMEs and help the sector to equip them in making a difference, not just in our local market, but also globally. So once again, thank you so much, Director Jerry Clavesillas, for your presentation. So now we're down to our third and last speaker. He is a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Electronics and Communication Engineering at Mapua Institute of Technology and an Electronics Engineering Board exam passer. He has an experience in the field of industry automation for 12 years and specializes cement industry, sugar industry, and in food and beverage industry. He is currently the engineering manager of Avant Equinox Group Industry Solution, or AGS Inc. So may I call on Engineer Rowell Gonzales.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Rowell Gonzales from AGS Inc. My presentation is about the packaging industry and the direction of the industry towards digitalization during these changing times, which Director Jerry also stated a while ago that digital platforms are being used by the MSMEs, especially during the lockdown period. Before I start, I believe we have a poll question for our participants.
Yes, you're right. So before we proceed with your presentation, another poll question will pop out on your screen. So the question is, does your company have a plan to reduce internal process and move towards digital plant by having a software platform in place? You have 10 seconds to vote. Okay, so time's up. All right, so I can see here that 50% said yes and 50% said no. So do you have any insights regarding the result of our poll question?
Yeah, actually, this is somehow expected since digitalization in the Philippines is not yet implemented in most of the companies. And hopefully after this presentation, these numbers will change. And actually, this is a good response from our participants, and we hope that we can help them in their digitalization journey.
Okay, so now that we're done with our poll question, you can proceed with your presentation, Engineer Rowell.
Hi, I'm Rowell Gonzales from Avant Equinox Group Industry Solutions Incorporated. I will be presenting Driving Innovation Efficiency Formulated Product Design. First, let me give you a brief introduction of our company. AGS Inc. is a solutions partner of Siemens for industrial automation and digital industry software. Our company was established in 2013 and continuously growing since then. We started by focusing on industrial automation supply and services, and then expanded with fabrication, assembly, and supply of electrical panels and services. As of now, we are also a partner for Siemens Digital Industry Software, which aims to bring the technologies of tomorrow to our customers today with process optimization softwares, cloud computing technology, and IoT. With this product lineup, we are looking forward to work with you in your future projects. That's enough of us, and let's proceed with the presentation. Digitalization changes all areas of life. The way we stay informed, the way we travel, the way we buy things, and the way we manufacture products. And it's also changing business models. The pace of innovation and the ability to disrupt are becoming key success factors in global competition. This increases the pressure on enterprises no matter the industry and opens up new business opportunities at the same time. Also, digital creates tremendous opportunities for product differentiation and customization in the CPG market, even personalization of your food. Digitalization allows to interact directly with the consumer and involve him in the creation of new packaging formats, or allow him directly to personalize the packaging of his product according to his likings. For example, Oreo's cookies from Mondelez. Mondelez interacts with consumers to design their own preferred packaging, or personalized labels on Coke bottles reflecting the name of people. Also, in the formulation of products, digitalization is changing the way product innovation and consumer interaction is happening. For example, by means of IoT-enabled soft drink dispensers and a smartphone with the app on, a consumer can create, store, and communicate his favorite mix of drink and have his personal taste delivered wherever he goes in the world. This with a simple touch of a button on his device. In the future, one can expect that customer will send his personal product formulation to the machine, which is manufacturing his drink instantaneously. Recently, the world was amazed how 3D printing allows companies to completely print custom cars according to the specific wishes of their customers. However, also in the food industry, the development of 3D printing is in full swing and creates tremendous opportunity for product differentiation and customization. For example, instead of looking at pictures and sharing this with family and friends, one can now 3D print your sweet vacation memories in chocolate. Here's a look on the not so far distant future but happening today. The Amazon Go grocery store. Especially in the CPG market, we saw a tremendous change within the last few years due to digitalization, which is driven by the following challenges. High quality demand. Quality is and always was a critical factor in the CPG industry. Due to today's social media comments of poor quality or safety issues are easily spread and thus become quality more and more important for your brand. Global and regional regulatory compliancy. New evolving markets in Asia provide new regulatory compliance rules. Increasing variety of brands, products, and recipes. Different consumer needs require huge product and packaging variety, which results in high complexity by increased number of alternative product sizes and formats offered to customers. Cost pressure. Production must be more efficient. The increasing cost of raw materials put tremendous pressure on margins. Fast-changing consumer demand. Consumers are attempting to make care of their health and environment by making more rational product choices and using new packaging designs, seasonal products only available for a short time, and low-fat products. Global setup. Distributed plants. Different locations have different cultures and habits. How to learn from the product, the market, new technology, and turn it into knowledge. Digitalization can help to address these challenges. The right digitalization concept will help our customers. These challenges are translated to following requirements of our customers. Reducing the time to market. Due to faster changing consumer demands, producers have to launch products faster. Despite rising product complexity, innovation cycles are getting shorter and product variety is increasing. Producers must speed up their product development processes and their introduction to production facilities. This can only be achieved by integrating the product and the production. Enhancing flexibility. Consumers want individualized products, but at the prices they would pay for mass-produced goods. As a consequence, production has to be more flexible than ever before. Increasing quality. Consumers provide high quality for recommending products on the internet, and they punish poor quality the same way. To ensure high product quality and to fulfill legal requirements, companies have to install closed-loop quality processes and products have to be traceable. Increasing efficiency. Today, it is not only the product that needs to be sustainable and environmental friendly. Energy efficiency in production becomes a competitive advantage too. And lastly, security. Another major requirement is security. Digitalization also leads to the increasing vulnerability of production plants to cyber attacks, thus increasing the need for appropriate security measures. A proper IT security concept must provide the basis for a sustainable digitalization strategy. Companies must consider IT security measures right from the start to protect their know-how, the quality of their products, and to ensure the availability of their production facilities. We believe a holistic approach that transforms a traditional value chain into an integrated product and production lifecycle, from product design to production planning, production engineering, production execution, and service. Only a fully digitalized business model with a consistent digital thread has the power and flexibility to speed up processes and optimize product operations. This also requires a joint data storage and data management system. With Teamcenter, Siemens provides the industry's leading collaboration platform throughout all steps of value chain. That means one data backbone. On top of our holistic value chain, you see our cloud-based open IoT ecosystem MindSphere. With MindSphere, companies of every type and size can unlock their data assets and put them to profitable use to increase availability, quality, and efficiency across the value chain. The result of integration and digitalization of the complete value chain is a perfect digital copy of the value chain, the digital twin. This enables companies to perform simulation, test, and optimization in a completely virtual world. They can visualize how the elements along the value chain interact, how they can meet the product requirements as defined in the early phase of the product development where bottlenecks arise, and where waste and non-value adding activities are being generated. And they can resolve all these problems and optimize their enterprise in the virtual world before ever committing any resources in the real world. We're investing billions to unify ideation, realization, and utilization to create the most holistic digital twin possible that supports the whole value chain of the customer by providing a digital twin of the product, operations, and the performance. We can use to gain foresight by simulating products, people, processes, and resources interacting in the virtual world, and then gain insight by matching real-world performance to our predictions so we can drive continuous improvement. In the CPG industry, the value chain is even more complex than in many other sectors. We do not have one value chain but two. the primary product and the secondary packaging. One is a batch process and the other more of an assembly process, very different in both design and manufacturing. There is an advantage in combining these two value chains in a common, holistic one based on Siemens technology. For instance, all information in the formulation of the beer can seamlessly be consumed in the artwork design of the label. Our system can support you in selecting what information must be printed on the label for which country. For example, English and French are mandatory in Canadian market, or the mandatory warning for pregnant women in French market. During the production execution, the scheduling of beer batches and filling orders is crucial to meet the customer demand in time, quality, and cost. Now, let's see what single steps in the value chain stand for. Why do you need all the steps? What are the main activities within each step? And what is Siemens' value proposition for each of them? How to develop the formula and consider quality aspects, national and local regulations, and use the possibility to reuse approved raw materials. How to create an appealing and cost-efficient design of the packaging. The product and formula design is usually done by a formula designer. He is the master of the recipe, and the formula design is based on long personal experience. That's why the formula designer is often called artists and not designers. To support these artists, formula and recipe management offers the possibility to reuse approved materials and ingredients when designing a new formulation. This saves time and ensures a high quality. In addition, what-if scenarios for new formulas, raw materials, packaging materials, and ingredients can be simulated, and the performance of new formulas in terms of quality, nutritional profile, allergens, and cost constraints can be compared. When the formulation is finally validated, it can be immediately converted to a bill of materials and the specifications. You may think that the design of the bottle is not that important, but you have to consider that a packaging design, innovative product design is a well thought out combination of form, fit, and function that leaves customers with a positive experience each time they use a product. That's why the bottle design is so important. You can feel the form, the fit, and the function of the bottle in your hand. Team Center Packaging Design delivers flexible, robust computer-aided industrial design and styling software that accelerates your product design by providing fast concept design and modeling. Now that the product is designed, you need to produce it on a larger scale. How to close the gap between digital formulation and production. How to make sure that the same product in the same quality can be produced at different sites. How to avoid bottlenecks in your line and verifying production planning before investing. By virtually modeling and simulating the complete production and packaging facilities, all bottlenecks can be detected before actually implementing them. After the production is finally planned and virtually tested, the production engineering starts. But how to network and coordinate all disciplines and departments involved in the engineering of a plant? Is there a convenient way to synchronize mechanical, electrical, and automation design of the whole plant? And how to reuse data created in the planning phase, like the process and instrumentation diagrams? Achieve excellence in automation with minimal effort. As mentioned in the beginning, the CPG industry faces a set of unique demands that, when combined together, result in an environment that is particularly challenging for planning and scheduling. For example, seasonal demand changes or the increasing number of different formulations. How to meet these challenges and allocate assets and staff efficiently. A lot of filling and packaging lines in the CPG run without reaching an acceptable performance. How to get transparency over the problems of your lines and use this information to improve your performance KPI. Order download and scheduling. Semantic IT APS offers the possibility to plan and schedule orders based on the different optimization algorithms and constraints. It is possible, for example, maximize the utilization of the filling line or the buffer capacity as a scheduling constraint. This is a lever to increase efficiency and productivity in production. It can even help in reducing energy consumption and material waste due to proper scheduling of assets and the best possible product sequence. All this is possible based on the models defined in the production planning phase. Order execution and integrated quality control. The scheduled orders can be executed in an orchestrated way. All operations, whether they are related to automation, manual tasks, or lab activities, can be orchestrated by our Semantic UA MOM platform, providing seamlessly integrated automation, operations, and quality processes. How to extract useful information out of mass data to improve product and production. Which is the right technology and how to make a big step ahead with minimal investment. All digital and analytical services will run on MindSphere, Siemens Cloud for Industry. This is an open ecosystem that enables connection to all industrial devices and in this way makes data from worldwide distributed machines and assets valuable. In this way, we transform data into value. Energy Analytics provides energy data management as a managed service and complements your existing know-how and systems. Why crunch your energy, resource, and production data yourself? With intelligent reports and data analytics prepared by our energy management experts, we help you to find your plant's hidden savings potential. MindSphere collects, analyzes, and reports the data in dashboards which allow to detect possible failures of drives in advance. To facilitate innovation and product development in the CPG industry, Siemens has bundled its capabilities in this field into 5 modular solution sets. The Formulated Product Design solution contains everything to develop new products covering all aspects of a formulated product. The Laboratory Information Management solution organizes the test execution, workflow, and workload in the laboratory. Package design and simulation, full operational graphical engineering environment to design and simulate the operation of all packaging elements of the product. Artwork Development Solution is a full operational graphical environment to create and manage the artwork for the product portfolio. Important interaction here between the label contents created in the Formulated Product Design solution and how it is positioned and displayed in the artwork on the product packaging. Program Lifecycle Management orchestrates the overall program and project schedules, their associated tasks and contents. It allows to streamline the activity across the entire development process and provide instant transparency. We'll now dive a bit deeper into the capabilities of the Formulated Product Design solution. Overall specifications of all type of products are managed in a centralized system all over the company to make sure to have always the right spec at the right moment and in the right place. These specifications manage all type of information relevant to these products, such as general product information, preparation instructions, quality parameters, nutritional information, bill of materials, process description, storage and package information, and legal information. The end user can configure specific templates in a fast, structured, and flexible way without any IT knowledge required. Mass updates, such as replacing one raw material by another raw material within a whole portfolio of products, is performed in less than 1 minute. Supports the electronic management of project-related data in a notebook structure with a high level of flexibility and stringent data security rules. All experimental data can easily be stored within context of the experiment and R&D project. As such, one can easily search and retrieve experimental data or R&D results in a Google-like search environments. Formula Workbench is a formula playground where formulations can be developed in a flexible and fast way. All ingredient, nutritional, and other relevant information managed in the Central Specification Management System are readily available for the formulator to develop new and alternative formulations. Rolled-up calculations of the ingredients and nutrients and regulatory checks based on ingredient threshold values are readily available for the formulator. The flexibility of the FWB is an important added value and benefit for the formulator. It is the Formula Workbench that allows to gain time and save money by setting up a digital twin of your formula before launching trials. Once a formula is developed in the formula workbench, the ingredient declaration, the nutritional facts panel, the claims, and the allergen list can be automatically generated. With the regulatory compliance check, the system can check whether a formula for a specific usage and function can be sold in a specific country based on the legislation of that country. Raw materials are purchased at local or corporate suppliers. They are obliged to provide detailed information on the raw materials they sell. All this information can be managed in corporate specification management system, but requires somebody to enter the information in the system. With the Supplier Collaboration Center solution, a secure web portal is made available for the suppliers to put their raw material data in a predefined format by themselves. The specification manager of the company can review the data, validate the information, and as a result, all data will automatically be updated in the specification management system. This principle puts data accuracy and data responsibility in the hands of the supplier to make sure the right raw material data is available. The LIMS component of our solution allows to close the quality loop within the company, assuring only those raw materials meeting up to spec are used in production, assuring the environment and machines are clean and free from any possible contaminants, and finally assuring the produced goods are only released for shipment once all parameters are within specs. During a development process, the electronic notebook project follow-up will launch one or more trials of each formula withheld in the formula workbench, evaluate and fine-tune this formula, and finally store these formulas as new specs for certain products with clearly defined upper and lower limits for certain values. During production, the process can be monitored. On a timely basis, samples can be collected from the batch and analyzed in the lab. The batch can be released once analysis has reached a level within limits set out during the development process. These threshold values can be managed as min and max values in the corporate specification management module and easily made available for the lab. Finally, raw material delivery samples can also be analyzed in the lab, assuring a batch of raw materials is only released to be used in production if the quality is within specs. Only by closing this quality loop in such a way a company can be sure about the quality set in the market and assure customers about the value the product is bringing. To summarize, these are the benefits of our formulated product design solution. First, faster time to market, lower cost due to structural savings in collaboration, process optimization, quality testing, and product recalls. Increased flexibility, transparency, and control with reduced complexity. Regulatory compliance. And finally, company-wide product data consistency. Thank you for joining me in this presentation. We look forward in working with you in the future and achieve success in every step of the way.
Thank you so much, Engineer Rowell, for that very detailed slides. And from your presentation, we've seen how Aegis contributes in transforming the F&B industry through digitalization, from designing the product, production planning, production engineering, and execution until we get the services. So thank you very much, Engineer Rowell, for your presentation. And now we're done with all the presentations from our speakers. We have come to the most awaited part of our attendees, and I'm sure everyone has been waiting for this moment. So I would also like to welcome Ms. Centril Leonor from Avant Equinox Group Industry Solutions, who will be joining our Q&A session as well. And to ask our speakers, please type in your question onto the Q&A box, which you can find at the top or bottom part of your screen, so depending on the device you are using. So don't be shy and let us know your questions. Okay, so I'll take this first question and I'll address this to Engineer Rowell. So the question is, what if we want to convert and start using R&D software? What is the process of it?
Okay. We do value selling. We will diagnose first your internal process and understand your AS to IS scenario. To start, we will set up a workshop to understand your formulated product design backbone. Usually, this workshop takes 1 day, and depending on the responsiveness and readiness of the documents and information gravity.
Okay, so we can now move forward to our second questions, and we will ask this to all of our speakers. So the second question is, how can digitalization help the industry during the post-COVID era? So maybe we can start off with Mr. Clarke.
Yes, definitely digitalization. It will give a presence for our MSMEs for their products, and it can reach even other countries and beyond the Philippine shore. So it's very important to embrace that market, and that digitalization can actually be. It's actually the next marketing tool for our MSMEs.
Okay, and maybe we can also hear from Director Jerry, your insight from this question.
Yes, aside from providing access to market using the digital platform, perhaps another positive things that can be done by digitalization to our MSMEs in the post-lockdown scenario is to maybe also to ensure the safety of our products and services, because this lesson now the human interface, and this will now increase also the trust and confidence again of our customers, the way we do our business, because as you understand, now the apprehension of everyone is to be contaminated, or infected rather, by the virus. So the less human interface, the safest, I think, the safer rather for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and to our last speaker, how do you think that digitalization helped the industry during the post-COVID period?
Okay. Digitalization improves and optimizes the industry throughout the history, and even during this pandemic. The process of R&D laboratory for finding the vaccine is aided by digitalization. So digitalization helps the industries to adapt to the new normal by simulating the processes of the plants without losing resources, since changes in the output can be easily predicted.
Okay. All right. So for our next question, this will be specifically addressed to Director Jerry and Mr. Clarke. So the question is, when are we going to be ready to meet Industrial 4.0? So maybe we can start now with Director Jerry to answer the question.
Well, it's a good thing that during the lockdown, a lot of our enterprises have already started to digitalize their operation. So I think this will be the first step for us in participating in the Industrial 4.0, because definitely that is now the requirement for everyone to become part of Industrial 4.0. You have to be in the digital digital platform.
Sorry. Any addition to what Director Jerry said, Sir Clarke?
Yes, at least we were able to already break the barrier. At first, our MSMEs are actually afraid to embrace it, but right now, at least we already have MSMEs onboarded on it, on the platforms, and digitalization is at the priority of our Department of Trade and Industry. And now even going into the e-commerce, even into the e-payments, enrolling all our MSMEs into it, putting them into market platforms. So these are big steps as we embrace that already.
Mm-hmm. And I think I need to get the insight of Engineer Rowell regarding the Industrial 4.0.
Yeah. Actually, they say automation is a production process is a basic requirement, which is true. But we also need to look to a bigger picture with these 4 requirements. So first, we need to develop a team, designate a personnel for each division with regards to Industry 4.0. And next one is the C-level. The executives must be able to invest in the initiatives And of course, another is don't forget the workforce training for the personnels. And lastly, start small. So, but remember the big picture, because maybe Industry 4.0 is a big picture that we need to look into. But of course, we should start small with what we have.
Okay. All right. So the next question I would like to address again to Mr. Clarke and Director Jerry in connection with the second questions earlier. Okay. So the question is, with that digitalization, how can MSMEs afford this technology? So maybe we can start off with Mr. Clarke Nebrao.
So it's very affordable, even with our Department of Trade and Industries. Most of the enrollment into platforms and most of the enrollments into this digitalization and e-commerce platforms are actually for free. And even enrolling into the e-payment gateways, whether it's from Paymaya or GCash or Union Bank, Global Linker, it's actually all free. And we are really very thankful and grateful for DTI for allowing us to embrace that smoothly. And right now we're really making good headways into that initiatives.
Mm-hmm. And do you have additional answer for that, Director Jerry?
Yes, in fact, even our financial facilities now that are being made available by our financial institutions also focus on the digitalization of our enterprises. So there is this facility now that provides for the, yung acquisition of mga equipment, mga technological tools and gadgets by the enterprises. But as said by Clarke na, even in our compilation simply of the yung mga available na mga technological tools or applications through our tech tool site at the DTI website, easily you can make use of the existing facilities ngayon which are free. So you can just start with the free, siguro muna, yung mga free applications, and once you're already an expert in those, then that's the time that you can start acquiring yung mga medyo high-end, high-end products siguro. I think there's another question here, Mia, she's asking what is our outlook for 2021. That was the second question of that question on the Industry 4.0. Well, our outlook for 2021 is that while it may take time for us for our economy to fully recover and get back to the pre-pandemic situation, definitely there are opportunities that are in store, because yun na nga, di ba, may kasabihan, in every adversity there's an opportunity. So one of the yung upside natin ngayon is this opportunity for everyone to go digital, because this is the only way for us to continuously operate and have access to all the various partners of the industry. So yun po ang natin ngayon. This is what we're saying, that there are a lot of opportunities now in store for us with all of this situation, because as I have said, the pandemic is not only privy to the Philippine economy, it's global, it's worldwide. So everybody is trying to shift ngayon, trying to retrofit as well. So there is always a place for us.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I have a follow-up question again to Director Jerry. The question is, what is the process for suppliers to participate and apply in DTI's SSF?
Yeah, that's a good question, because actually ngayon, one of our bottlenecks in the implementation of this program is that we lack suppliers. So every time kasi naman, this is a government procurement procedure. So every government procurement is uploaded at the PhilJeps. This is the DBM system. Lahat ng mga procurement natin nasa PhilJeps. So just visit the PhilJeps system every day, and you can see there what are being yung mga na procure or na posted na ng mga agencies. We have 16 regional operations, regional offices nationwide. So most of them now are already in the process of procurement. So the problem is that, as I have said, not so many qualified suppliers of those mga identified equipment that they have. So it's better for our potential suppliers to also get in touch with our DTI regional and provincial offices, so that even before joining or in the bidding, they can already find out what are those equipment or machineries perhaps that our regional operations are intending to acquire, because some of them are not really technically informed or parang expert on those mga technical matters. So it's good that they can be briefed and properly siguro introduced to the mga to the various equipment that are available in the market.
Okay, and in relation to SSF, I think I need to ask Sir Clarke regarding it. So what packaging machines do MSMEs need for SSF to offer?
Actually, it really depends on the industry of a particular province or a particular region. If I will be talking about the food industry, where I belong to, it's mostly the new technologies of food processing. So from your metal detectors to spray dryers to freeze dryers, or even your smart sealers, the new smart sealers, we as basic as that, but of course it varies from the different industries, and each industry have different machine needs, so they can inquire, as Sir Director Jerry was talking about, really look at it, coordinate with the various regional offices. And I think I can add up to Director Jerry saying, we want to ask our suppliers, please register through PhilJeps, because I think most of them, we lack suppliers mainly because they are not part of the PhilJeps system. And this is really a government procedure. So those suppliers who are with us today, please do register with PhilJeps, because that is a basic requirement for all our needs under the government.
Okay, and Sir Clarke, regarding to your presentation earlier about the OTOP Virtual Trade Fair form, how do we receive updates on events or information like this?
Well, it's definitely our DTI website is always updated with all the events, and even now in our social media, whether you're in Facebook or in Instagram, or even now in YouTube, we have the regional operations group have what we call the Pasalav initiative, wherein each region focuses on the different products that they have, and inviting local celebrities and local endorsements, and for them to see the various products that we have and we manufacture in the different regions. So that is so we're very much present in all social media, in all the e-commerce and e-platforms, as well. So they can find all those information and events in those portals.
All right, thank you so much, Sir Clarke. So we're taking the last question for this session, and I would like to address this to Engineer Rowell. So the last question would be, what are the usual challenges that Siemens R&D software address, and what are the common benefits?
Okay, for the challenges, these are reduce the time to market, for example, for product development. Then another is short innovation cycles for more complex products, and another is very common is increased efficiency, energy and resource efficiency in global operations or even local. Another is improved quality, and because of high expectations from our customers or from the consumers. So the benefits are, of course, faster time to market for products, and lower cost due to savings in collaboration for process optimization and quality testing. Another is increased flexibility, transparency, and control. And lastly will be regulatory compliance for a company-wide product data.
All right, thank you so much, Engineer Rowell, and to Director Jerry and Sir Clarke Nebrao. And there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for participating in our Q&A portion. We would like to remind you all again that after this webinar, you will be redirected to our survey form. Please answer the survey to help us serve you better in our next events. To know more about ProPak Philippines' latest activities and updates, please follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and check our website, which are now flashing on your screens. And that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you everyone for joining us, and I hope that you have learned from our invited speakers, and we appreciate your time and participation. We would also like to thank our sponsor for this webinar, Avant Equinox Group Industry Solution Inc. and Siemens. The presentation materials, except of the speakers, are owned and copyrighted by Informa Markets. The speakers are solely responsible for their content and opinions. On behalf of our guest, Mr. Clarke Nebrao, Director Jerry Clavesillas, and Engineer Rowell Gonzales, this is Mia. Thank you for your time, and till the next webinar episode of ProPak Philippines. Have a great day.